Hello, my name is Holly, and I'm currently completing a Master's in Applied Criminology and Forensic Psychology at Edinburgh Napier University. Having previously earned a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, my academic and professional experiences have consistently centred around understanding complex behaviours, particularly in vulnerable or marginalised populations. I'm applying to Glasgow Caledonian University's Masters in Forensic Psychology because I am deeply committed to working in forensic mental health and ultimately becoming a chartered forensic psychologist. GCU's strong practitioner focus, alignment with BPS Stage 1 training, and the opportunity to work alongside respected researchers and professionals in the field strongly appeal to me. This programme represents the ideal next step to further develop my research expertise, build on my practical experience, and contribute meaningfully to evidence based forensic practice. Question 1. What is the role of a forensic psychologist in terms of role competencies, and what personal characteristics make them effective and good at what they do? The role of a forensic psychologist centres around applying psychological principles within legal, clinical, and criminal justice settings. Key competencies include forensic risk assessment, case formulation, intervention planning, research, and collaboration with multidisciplinary teams. An effective forensic psychologist must also demonstrate personal characteristics such as emotional resilience, ethical integrity, strong communication skills, and the ability to remain objective in high pressure or emotionally charged environments. Empathy is essential not to excuse behaviour but to understand it and to develop person centred, evidence informed responses that support rehabilitation and public protection. Question 2. There is a significant step up from undergraduate study to postgraduate study. What do you think is expected from students on our master's programme, and how would you meet these expectations? Postgraduate study requires not only a deeper engagement with academic material, but also a significant level of independence, critical thinking, and self direction. On a master's programme, I believe students are expected to evaluate literature critically, apply theory to real world problems, and work ethically within applied settings. There's also an expectation to engage in reflective practice, contribute to peer discussions, and balance both academic rigour and professional standards. In my current master's programme, I've embraced these expectations by developing advanced research skills, particularly through my dissertation, which involved designing and conducting qualitative interviews with gay and bisexual men about barriers to help seeking for IPV and intimate partner violence. I independently developed the research protocol, obtained ethical approval, and am conducting thematic analysis, all while managing other academic and professional commitments. I've also worked collaboratively with peers and supervisors, taking constructive feedback seriously and applying it to improve my writing and analysis. For example, one supervisor noted that my writing was of publishable standard, which encouraged me to raise the bar further and explore academic publication. I've learned how to navigate complex psychological issues like trauma, risk, and intersectionality, and I've sought out opportunities to apply these insights into my support work. These experiences have given me a strong foundation to confidently transition into another postgraduate programme and make a meaningful contribution. Question 3. With reference to the current literature, can you talk through what you believe the individual risk factors of violent crime can be? Contemporary forensic psychology literature highlights a range of individual level risk factors for violent crime, which are best understood through a biopsychosocial lens. Risk factors don't operate in isolation, they interact with social context and developmental history. A key area of focus in current research is adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. According to Baglivo and colleagues 2014, ECEs such as physical abuse, neglect, and exposure to domestic violence are strongly correlated with later violent offending, particularly when trauma is untreated. These experiences can impair emotion regulation and social learning, key pathways into aggression. Recent literature also explores the role of cognitive and neuropsychological deficits. Rain 2018 highlights impairments in the prefrontal cortex responsible for executive function as a predictive of impulsivity and reactive aggression. Deficits in verbal reasoning and empathy have been linked to persistent violent behaviour. Personality disorders, especially those of antisocial or borderline traits, also feature prominently. A recent systematic review by Black and colleagues 2021 confirmed a significant association between certain personality pathologies and increased risk of interpersonal violence, especially when combined with substance misuse or emotional dysregulation. Recent literature has also focused on psychosocial disadvantage as a compounding factor. Research by McRae and McVie 2010 in Scotland's youth justice system highlights how social exclusion, poverty, and system contact can entrench criminal trajectories, even more so when early intervention is lacking. What's important to stress is that risk is not deterministic. Many individuals with these risk factors never engaged in violence, which is why a structured professional judgment tool like the HCR20 version 3 is so valuable. It allows psychologists to weigh individual factors against protective influences, developmental history, and current presentation. My postgraduate training has given me practical experience using these tools in case-based risk formulation, which has strengthened my understanding of how academic literature translates into real-world risk management. Question 4. Please tell me about a time when you had to work with someone who was distressed or confrontational. What did you learn about this situation? During my role as a support worker, I supported a young adult with autism who became very distressed and confrontational during a transition between activities, which triggered their anxiety. My task was to de-escalate the situation, ensure their safety and emotional well-being, and to help them regain a sense of control without escalating the confrontation further. I stayed calm, maintained a non-threatening posture, and spoke in a slow, low voice to reduce sensory overload. I acknowledged their feelings by saying, "I can see this is really overwhelming for you." I then used a now and next visual board, a tool familiar to them, to offer clear, simple choices, giving them back a sense of agency without forcing engagement throughout. I made sure to maintain appropriate personal space and monitored their non-verbal cues. After a few minutes, the young person visibly relaxed and was able to make a choice about what they wanted to do next. They transitioned successfully to a quieter activity. This experience reinforced me the importance of emotional regulation, using trauma-informed communication and tailoring support strategies to individual needs. Question 5. Please tell us why you're suitable for the Master's programme. I believe I bring a rare combination of academic excellence, practical experience, and authentic commitment to the field of forensic psychology. Academically, I have consistently challenged myself to explore complex and under-researched issues. My undergraduate dissertation examined camouflaging autism and the relationship to mental health and executive function, using validated psychometric tools like the RAADSR, GAD7, CATQ, and the ESQR. My current master's dissertation focuses on gay and bisexual men experiences of IPV, a topic often overlooked in forensic victimology. I designed and conducted interviews, thematically analysed data, and considered the ethical complexities of working with a marginalised population. In addition to my research, I bring extensive real-world experience in supporting vulnerable individuals. As a support worker, I work with children and adults with learning disabilities, autism, and mental health challenges, often supporting those in crisis or presenting with behavioural concerns. I've also delivered person-centred interventions, managed safeguarding risks, and built trusting therapeutic relationships. I'm a graduate member of the BPS and I stay up to date with developments in policy and practice. My career ambition is to become a chartered forensic psychologist, and this Masters represents a critical next step. I'm excited to work and learn from the experts at GCU and to contribute to your research culture and to grow as both a thinker and a practitioner. Thank you for your time.